Have you been struggling to pray, or have you been struggling to just spend time in God's presence on your own? Today I have 5 tips for you to have a better and more powerful prayer life. The first point is that actually pray together with other people. Pray corporately. You can be part of a ministry, you can be part of a church, have a church that you belong to where you actually pray together with other people. Because so many times you're so tired on your own that you don't feel like doing it. But then when you actually go to church, someone might be giving prayer points, and then as you go along, as you pray along, you actually find yourself getting more and more energized. Just the same way you may not be in a mode of worship during the week, but when you actually go to church, you find yourself just breaking down in God's presence. It is because corporate prayer is that powerful. The reason why we have to fellowship with each other is because we lift each other up. When we are down, you just know that corporately you can actually begin to feel yourself rising, feeling your spirit being awakened. The same way that Jesus had to ask his disciples at some point to go up the mountain to pray with him. So in life, sometimes you just need people that you pray with, people that can encourage you. Tip number 2 is to actually pray out loud. Like when you literally pray out loud, you remove yourself from so many distractions, because there are so many distractions that happen along. When you're praying silently, though for some people, yes, even myself, sometimes I require that quiet prayer, but so many times I find myself thinking about the next soccer game that I don't even follow. Like, I'm not a football fan, but then I find myself thinking about such things. I'm distracted. I'm thinking about my homework. I'm thinking about the things that I have to do, what I've not done, and all that. Like, it just helps me to focus. When I actually pray out loud, I remain focused on the prayer point that I'm praying about, so I just don't get any distractions. So I just hope this is helpful to you as well, that as you pray out loud, you reduce distractions and then you maintain focus in actually praying. So the more you actually begin to pray out loud, the more time you actually get to spend in God's presence as well. Tip number 3 is to go on a prayer walk, where you just connect with nature. You just feel the wind as it just touches your skin. You just feel the beauty of God in creation. You might plug in your headphones or your earphones, and then you just listen to some good music as you walk. For some weird reason that I still don't understand up to now, it's one of the really spiritual acts that I take. I just take a walk with or without earphones or headphones. I just walk, I just hear the birds singing, and then that alone helps me to appreciate God's nature, God's majesty, God's amazingness that I find in nature. And also it removes us from distractions, it separates us from distractions that can come from even our family, our children, our friends that generally want to talk all the time. Like, I am that friend that wants to talk all the time, and I might be a distraction to you. So sometimes going on a prayer walk, as you walk, you pray, you connect with God, you think about the things that God has to say to you. That as you walk, you connect with God through nature, you connect to God. It just gives you a sense of peace, a sense of joy and calmness as you take a walk. Tip number 4 is to start a prayer journal. So a prayer journal is one of those things that I've really invested in. This is mine. I actually like it because it's African fabric coated. So it's just motivation. Like, I'm constantly drawn to my prayer journal. I write down everything that concerns me. As you can see here, I actually wrote down these points that I'm actually telling you at this point. So it just helps me to keep in constant check. Or sometimes just write a whole letter to God, and I'm just jotting down the things that I want, the things I'm hoping for, how much I love him, how much he loves me. And it's very expressive. So it just helps me to keep track of my progress in terms of my spirituality. I write down goals that I want to achieve in terms of my prayer life, and then I constantly check on myself that on this and this date, have I actually managed to achieve that objective that I had in the first place. I also have a good looking one that generally puts you like, calm my child, calm my child. And then you just have to write something in your prayer journal. Like, I actually look at my journals back then, how some of the things I was praying for back then have been fulfilled in this day. I was praying to have a good best friend, I was praying to just have a sense of peace, to not be depressed and all that, and God has fulfilled that in this day. Tip number 5 is to pray for specific things. In Matthew 7 verse 7, it says, ask and it shall be given to you, seek and you shall find. So when you pray for something specific, be rest assured in faith that it has already been answered. So sometimes we just pray recklessly, like we're praying for this, we're praying for that. But when you pray for a specific thing, if you want a husband, or if you want a particular job, that you want to be a software engineer at Deloitte and Touche, then you really have to pray specifically for that. Then that's how you see that God is actually answering your prayers. And when you have your prayers answered by God, it means that you're definitely inspired to keep going and going and going. You know how it is that sometimes we feel like we're praying for something, but then God is not answering. But sometimes it's because we're actually praying amiss. We're not praying right. Like we're praying, these very long prayers, but that are not specific. You have to be specific. When you ask, it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. So make sure that you pray for specific things. Have a specific prayer and God will answer you specifically as well. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you liked it. And please do subscribe and turn on the notifications bell so that every Tuesday you may get notifications on all new videos. I love you so much. Mwah.